have to go and, commit those expenses and go through that process. So this was the second problem. And the third problem was networking and, access to a whole lot of network, professional network. Women just don't network. The fourth problem was access to equity access to equity and not just debt. Equity is a different market, right? I mean, you have to be out there all the time, talking to investors, learning the language, being confident to take those calls, and so on and so forth. So that is how Indus We was born. It is now a full-fledged platform in IndusInd Bank, where we not just focus on providing loans to women entrepreneurs, but we provide them the entire ecosystem. We have tied up with bankers, banking and non-banking partners. These non-banking partners provide the much value-added services that a small woman-owned business needs very badly. So they are services like HR services, accounting services, legal services, tax, filing services, and not just that. How you learn and update yourself, how do you keep improving your skills, how do you get access to government grants, how do you get access to equity players, and of course, how do you get access to NBFC and bank money. So that is what the platform provides you, how to connect better, how to learn better, and how to grow better. So if you are a woman entrepreneur, don't waste time. Come bank with us, we will make you fly. That's our promise. So that's all from us. Look forward to meeting you all later.
Just stay back on stage. Sure. Thanks, Rupa. Please stay back because we have a couple of very special awards coming up right now. And to give away these awards, I'd like to invite on stage our guest of honor, Gaur Gopal Das ji, and of course our keynote speaker as well, Mr. Ronnie Screwvala. If you can both come up on stage, we have a couple of awards to give away. So these are the Indus We Awards, and can we have the AV, please?
So the two categories we have chosen are phenomenal. Congratulations, Ankur Dehia, on winning the Express Indus We Award. Very well deserved indeed. The rural e-commerce platform that you have set up, Rosanna, is extremely inspiring as it provides millions a source of livelihood. And among the women I know, your efforts really stand out in terms of perseverance and fighting all odds. More power to you. All the best for your future.
Can we have Ms. Ankur Dahia on stage? Big round of applause. And now for the second award, can we have the AV, please?
Congratulations to you, Riya Tharimal, for winning the Express Indus We Award. Your vision and meticulous execution in putting together the school in Jaipur Sanskar is really commendable. The dedication that you have shown and the commitment in empowering the students in your school really stand out among the other schools that we have come across. More power to you and keep up the good work.
I'd like to invite Ms. Riya Tharimal up on stage for your award, please. Thank you. Thank you. I would like to request Gaur Gopal ji to stay back on stage because I think you have the next session. I promise you could just. So, ladies and gentlemen, now it's time for our keynote address by somebody who all of you have been following for some time online. We've had an Express Adda with him in the past as well. And he, I think, is one of the most prominent personalities in India today if you're on the internet and you followed some of his work. So, Shri Gaur Gopal Das ji is an electrical engineer, having studied in the College of Engineering in Pune. After a brief stint with Hewlett-Packard, so he's a techie as well, he decided to upgrade his career and become a life coach. Ever since, he has been speaking at various academic institutions and corporate firms in India, including at the Express. And for over 2 decades, he has even spoken at the British Parliament and at the UN. He's spoken at many charity events. He has raised a lot of funds for social initiatives in the field of education and rural development. He has a lot of motivational videos that have gone viral with nearly about 2.5 billion views. With over 21 million followers across all social media platforms, he is known as the urban online monk. He also has a book, Life's Amazing Secrets, which is a national bestseller and has sold over 1 million copies. With that, I'd like to hand it over to Shri Gaur Gopal Das ji to give us some words of wisdom at this Awards for Women's Entrepreneurs at the Express.
Thank you very much. Thank you. A very good evening to you, ladies and gentlemen. It doesn't look like you're very happy seeing me, guys. A very good evening to you, ladies and gentlemen. Can I hear your voice a little louder? A very good evening to you, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, love that, madam. Thank you. We need to raise the energy in the room. We are just beginning the award function. And you can't have stale energy in the room. We need to make some noise and clap. So it is an absolute pleasure and honor to be here this evening at the Women's Entrepreneur Awards function. My gratitude to all the organizers for giving me the opportunity. I can't miss one of them, right? How do I take all the names? I'm saying to all the organizers for giving me the opportunity to be here, and my gratitude to each one of you as well. Heartfelt congratulations to all the ladies, the dynamic ladies who are going to be recognized, appreciated, and honored with this Women's Entrepreneurs Award this evening. Their success stories in their own way, and we all seek inspiration from their examples, and we would like to emulate the principles that they have imbibed in their lives in our own journeys. We seek inspiration from them to follow our aspirations. Is that all right if I come down? Oh, brilliant. Brilliant. Stages are boring. Stages are boring. They're like success. Very lonely. When you get up there, you don't know whom to trust. You absolutely don't know whom to trust when you're up there. Your social circle and the people whom you connect to goes on shrinking because you don't know who's trustworthy. Before you were a known person, people were connecting to who you are. Once you're a known person, people connect you to what you have. Before you're a known person, people will ask you, how are you? And after that whole success and fame is gone, people will ask you, who are you? Words change from how are you to who are you. That's about it. About 30 years I've been speaking and nobody came to me for a selfie, guys. Not a single soul came to me for a selfie. Suddenly in the last 5 years, even all the young girls, Guruji, can we have a selfie, please? All the young guys are super envious of me. They chase after them and the girls don't go. And here are all the girls coming to take a selfie. मुझे पता नहीं क्या हुआ. 30 years of doing the same thing. And suddenly today, people come for a picture. People come for a selfie. इसलिए मैं कई बार कहता हूँ, जिनके ना आते थे जवाब, उनके सलाम आने लगे. जिनके ना आते थे जवाब उनके सलाम आने लगे, मेरा वक्त क्या बदला, मेरे नीम के पेड़ पे आम आने लगे. I'll tell you, trust me. It's just how the world functions, isn't it? Just how the world functions. If my time changes tomorrow, do you think people come for a picture with me? मेरे साथ कोई फोटो लेने आया ही नहीं जी, मेरे बदले हुए वक्त के साथ फोटो लेने आए हैं. सारा वक्त का खेल है. It's all about time. There were people who were stellar shining stars in the sky of success. They're coming now, they'll be called as a guest of honor. They're being called as somewhere to sit somewhere. They shared their glory at one point in time. Glorious success. And just the power of time, that the most relevant person, no matter how much we try to keep up with times and be relevant, the most relevant person is rendered irrelevant. It's just the power of time, you know. And which is precisely why that's a very lonely place, guys. It's here that we need to come. From there it's a talk, from here it's a conversation. And leadership is not about talks. Leadership is about conversations. If I lead from the ivory tower, people work for a paycheck. If I lead from the grassroots levels, people work for a vision. Right? And we want people to work for a vision. We don't want people to work for a paycheck. And paycheck is an integral part of work. It is an absolutely integral part of work. But to be able to inspire people to come and share the vision that we have, to grow, to make a difference, to make an impact. Because as it is said, it's easy to make a buck. Very difficult to make a difference. Millions in the world, their purpose is making bucks. Few in the world are wanting to make bucks while making a difference. If it's just bucks, we've lost the purpose. If it's bucks with a difference, we've got the equation absolutely right, you know. And which is why commendable success, these ladies. They've made an impact, they made a difference, they made something, they're contributed something in a stellar way, which is why they are here today, being honored, being respected, being appreciated, being awarded for all what they have done in their respective journeys. Let me tell you a story that is very close to my heart. A dark, gloomy night, a ship sailing on the ocean, dark moon night, you can't see anything. Turbulent ocean, choppy waters, thunderstorms, lightning, torrential rains. And suddenly one of the sailors on the ship comes to the captain and says, "Sir, we are in for a head-on collision." The captain said to the sailor, "Tell them, you change course 20 degrees. Back came the reply, "You better change course 20 degrees. The captain was annoyed. He told the sailor, "Signal to them, I am the captain of the ship telling you change course 20 degrees. Back came a reply, "I'm an ordinary seaman, second class, telling you change course 20 degrees. This absolutely infuriated the captain. He said, "Tell them, we are a battleship. You better change course 20 degrees. Back came the reply, "We are a lighthouse. We don't change course. We don't change course. You are meant to align your ships with the directions provided by the lighthouse." Ladies and gentlemen, the fundamental prerequisite, requirement for success in whatever space is being totally in alignment with those lighthouse principles. It is when we make compromises with the lighthouse principles. It is when we start making those little adjustments for expediency. It's when we start shoving those lighthouse principles, the basic fundamentals, under the carpet for quick success and quick bucks. is when impact has gone down, when making a difference has gone down. And which is precisely why alignment is so critical. Good leaders are those who align their thoughts, their processes, their decisions, their feelings with those lighthouse principles, the truth. Poor leaders are those who want to align the truth with their agendas, with their feelings, with their thoughts, with their processes. Alignment is so absolutely critical. How many of you fly, guys? Oh, my asked a very difficult question. I didn't mean like birds. Why that confusion on your faces? How many of you fly? Of course, all of us. Of course, all of us, we do. Right? In the year 2019, I was like a mad guy. I took 280 flights that year. That's called insanity. It's insane travel when you take 280, 300 flights a year. It's an absolute insanity. Your body doesn't know what to do. You know, it just doesn't know what to do. And then I kind of became expert in making the cabin crew announcements. If the cabin crew member doesn't come, you know what to say. You know? Oh my. Once one of the cabin crew members, I just came on board a flight, I was going to London, BA, and the lady comes and says, "Welcome on board, sir. We guarantee takeoff." I said, "Landing, madam?" She said, "You're a monk, right? Pray." Praying is important. Jokes apart, one of my friends is a commercial pilot, and he told me that a plane during its journey to a particular destination is only on the air route for about 30% of the time. 70% of the time, the plane is being thrown off the route, thrown off the course by weather conditions. Yet when I take a flight to London, in about 9 or 9.5 hours, I land at Heathrow. Despite having known that I've been on the air route for not more than 30%. What's beautiful is, when the flight is thrown off the course, the pilot is constantly aligning and realigning the plane to the route. Which is why to expect that the flight will remain on track always is a myth. Is a myth. To think that everything is going to go the way we planned is a myth. If you want to make God laugh, guys, tell him your plans. If you believe in one, he's sitting up there and thinking, "Ye pagal planning kar raha hai." Kal nahi dekha isne. I'm not saying don't plan. I'm just saying how, despite all our planning, all of you successful ladies here today, everybody in the room here, but everybody who's going to be honored and awarded today can vouch for this with hand on your heart that during the entire journey, your plane has been thrown off course 1,000,000 times. Yet, you've landed at the destination at the Women Entrepreneurs Award today. You've landed at Heathrow. Why? Because you've been aligning and realigning your plane constantly. Good leadership, the fundamental requirement for success, is to be in constant awareness of the fact that this is just a part of my life. You know what? We fight constantly. How many of you were great at maths in school? Okay, brilliant, ma'am. Wow. How many of you are terrible at maths in school? Wow, very honest raise of hands there. How many of you didn't care a damn for maths in school? Okay, that's the most number of hands I get raised there. Oh my. There was a teacher who came in a class, 7-year-olds. She's a maths teacher. She said, "A ship is sinking, a frog is croaking, and potatoes are 20 rupees a kilo. Guess what my age is?" The kid said, "Can you come back with that question, ma'am?" A ship is sinking, a frog is croaking, and potatoes are 20 rupees a kilo. Guess what my age is? One boy raised his hand and said, 32, madam. She said, "You're bang on. But how did you get that answer right?" He said, "Well, my sister's 16 years old. She's half mad." Oh, being an engineer, maths comes very naturally to me. I've always looked at the equation of life and challenges that come our way, like the weather conditions that throw a plane off the course, as a mathematical equation. And in that equation, there is something called as a constant, a pi, a 3.1418. It's called constant for a reason. It's called constant for a reason because you can't change it. You can't beat your head against it to say, oh, please make pi 2.36847. No. It's called constant for a reason because you can't change it. And the earlier we identify what our constants are, we don't waste our time, resources, energy on fighting those things that are just 3.1418. Ladies and gentlemen, I see a lot of times people trying to, why? Why are we wasting our precious mental space on people who bloody don't care a damn? Why are we wasting our precious energy, resources on making decisions and investing in stuff that we know is going to fail? What made me make a decision so foolish as that? What? I don't know. You try to change a decision, try to change a concept like hitting your head against the wall. When you hit your head against the wall doesn't move, guys. Your head hurts. Hitting your head against the wall is hurting my head. The wall is not going to move. The earlier I can identify my walls, I can save my time, energy, and resources for what I can work on. The only condition in which the wall does move is this. One guy comes up to me and says, Guruji, what is more powerful? 15 liters of milk or 100 ml of unadulterated vodka? Who is he asking the question? Me? I said, 15 liters of milk, man? He said, wrong. I said, prove. He said, 100 ml of vodka is more powerful than 15 liters of milk. So how? So you drink 15 liters of milk, go and kick the wall, hit your head against the wall will move. Take 100 ml of unadulterated vodka. Stand where you are. The wall will automatically start moving, he said. Oh my. Oh, thank you, ma'am, for that. Believe me, you, hand on my heart. Over the years, I realized it's just waste of time to focus our energy on the pie. There will always be a pie, whether it's your spouse, your children, your parents, your colleagues, your business partners. People are who they are, guys. They don't necessarily change. We can adjust. We can make a few compromises here and there. People have their core natures, and no matter what you do, they just don't change. That's a pie. But in that equation, there is an X. When I say X, you should know what the meaning of that X is. Otherwise, these days, X means you know what. These days, X means this. These days, X means this. Chaha tha kya, paya hai kya, humne dekhi, dil mein magar jalte rahe, चाहत के दिए. गीता का श्लोक पूछो मैडम. Sorry guys. Just make it a bit lighter for this evening. These days excess become this. चाहा था क्या पाया है क्या. The X in the equation of life is that variable that is totally in our control, ladies and gentlemen. And the more we shift our attention to that variable, we feel empowered. Yes, during this journey, the plane is going to go off course. Yes, during this journey, turbulence, issues, problems, challenges are going to weigh us down. Yes, during this journey, we're going to feel totally lost, devastated, hopeless at times, and all of you ladies who are receiving this award today will testify of what I'm saying. when you hit rock bottom internally and sometimes externally as well. But you're here because you've constantly focused on course correction. Not on the pies, but on the X's. And which is what is the beauty of life. Constant alignment and realignment and course correction. जिंदगी है जनाब, तकलीफ तो होगी ही ना, वरना मरने के बाद ना जलने तक का एहसास नहीं होता. Right? How you even think that this is not going to happen? To expect that is like, what are you talking about? Living in complete acceptance, awareness, cognizance of this fact is what life is about. मैं फिकी फ्लो, अभी वो लेडी आई बैंगलोर से, मैंने कई फिकी फ्लो के चैप्टर्स में इवेंट किए हैं, सारी लेडीज और अकेला मैं. Some of my team members got a culture shock. Guruji, what are you doing? Some of the best sessions I've been with Vicky Flo, in fact, very dynamic. And I remember she just came to remind me, I just did a session with them recently. It was a full house, over 500 people, 500 ladies. Wow. And I said a statement there, just mentioned something there. You know what, in the modern world today, as women, we have broken the stereotype that existed several decades back. We are out of the stereotypical boundaries. You wouldn't be here otherwise. Leading businesses, creating impact, making money, making a difference, holding massive, respectable positions up there. You wouldn't be able to do it if we weren't to break out of those stereotypical boundaries. We have. एक बात बताऊं आपको, मुझे एक शेर याद आ रहा है, और उस शेर के साथ मैं अपनी माँ की कहानी बताऊंगा. And I'll stop for this evening. Don't want to bore you for too long. There's a lot to happen this evening. But ये एक कहानी और ये एक शेर is something that's very close to my heart. I read this long back, which said, निकाल लाया हूँ पिंजड़े से एक परिंदे को, निकाल लाया हूँ एक पिंजड़े से एक परिंदे को, अब उस परिंदे के दिल से पिंजड़ा निकालना बाकी है. You know, I have removed the bird from the cage. Now I need to remove the cage from the bird. आप लोगों ने ना वो पिंजड़े से निकल गए हैं आप. Ladies, if there is something that's stopping you, it's no longer those boundaries. Because we are in times where those boundaries have gone out. We've come out of those boundaries. But someone of the level of Indira Nui still had that pinjada and the guilt that I'm not giving time to my daughters. Someone of the level of Indira Nui is still living in this thing that, oh, I couldn't spend enough time with my daughters. है ना भाई, कुछ तो करने जाओगे तो कुछ तो neglect होगा ना भाई. You don't get best of everything in the world. This work-life balance and balancing, that is a crappy myth. You can try to do whatever is possible, but it's not happening. When you're getting somewhere, there is always going to be something that's going to be neglected, guys. निकाल लाया हूँ परिंदे को एक पिंजड़े से परिंदा निकालना बाकी है. Sorry, परिंदे से पिंजड़ा निकालना बाकी है. Important for all of you who have aspirations. You have all the opportunities, all the freedom, the resources available to grow. You have the potential to grow. अभी बस परिंदे के अंदर का पिंजड़ा जो कई बार रोक के रखता है, वो निकाल कर ऊपर उड़ने का वक्त आ गया है. My mother, when she was in her 11th grade, I was in her womb. When my mother was in her 11th grade, I was in her womb. When I was born, my mom stopped going to school. She studied her 11th grade, and that's what it was. A lady who had got educated in a vernacular medium school. She brought me up. My mother and my dad, my mom, my family brought me up. एक दिन ऐसा आया कि मैंने माँ ने सोचा कि कब तक पिंजड़े में बंद रहूंगी. I need to pay full attention to my family. She never compromised, guys. She never compromised, guys. I'm a result of what my mom brought me up. You listen to my words, you listen to what I'm saying, and if you ever felt any difference, there's 2 or 3 things. The way my mom raised me, the way my guru taught me, and my spiritual connection. If anything little somewhere reaches. I remember how my mom raised me. We are a simple lower middle class family. Dad working for the Meteorological Department of India, IMD, as a scientific officer. A salary wouldn't suffice. If the children's aspirations were to be fulfilled, that salary wouldn't suffice. My mom realized I need to break open through this cage. इस पिंजड़े से बाहर निकलना पड़ेगा. She broke open to the cage, starting a small little business. She's still very small. Nothing big. Nobody even knows her. My dad couldn't. It was my mom who purchased 5 apartments in the town she lives, and she's going now to buy the 6th one, guys. 6th one. Isiliye, the first thing we need to replace is the word women empowerment. Stop using that phrase, please. Stop using that phrase, women empowerment, as if you're the pity of somebody to empower you. As soon as you say empowerment means somebody needs to give you power. But in our culture, we call women Shakti. And if we are calling women Shakti, it's already there. If you have forgotten it, निकाल लाया हूँ एक पिंजड़े से परिंदे को, बस परिंदे के दिल से पिंजड़ा निकालना बाकी है. My mother flew out of that cage. And as she flew out of that cage, she also decided to remove the cage out of her mind. And which is why she could do what she was doing. She raised us so well, at least I hope I am kind of okay well. She raised she raised us so well that I reflect on that as another story. She raised us beautifully. And even today, a woman who keeps going. My grandmother last year, 2 years back, left the body at 100 years. She was 100 years old. She saw her husband die. She saw her son, my father, die. She saw 2 of her daughters die. She saw 5 of her grandchildren die. That woman just refused to say no. And that is the power of women Shakti. Women are emotionally independent. Did you know that, ladies? While you're always being branded as emotional. It's quite amazing to see that women are emotionally independent. It is men who are emotionally dependent. I've seen so many men leaving this world and the women are steady, they carry through their lives, and I've seen so many ladies living and men are broken. Men are broken. In fact, there are people who tell me, men who tell me, आप प्रार्थना कीजिए मेरी वाइफ पहली नहीं जाए, नहीं तो मेरा हालत हो जाएगा. How many of you are good at spellings in school? Last question for you today. How many of you are terrible at spellings in school? How many of you didn't care about spellings in school? A teacher once came to a class and asked a boy in class, which state of India are you from? He said, I'm from Arunachal Pradesh, madam. She said, can you spell it for me? He said, I'm from Goa, actually. Like, who's going to spell Arunachal Pradesh? But apart from all the spelling stuff, the harder bit is when it comes to chemistry. Can you tell me what are those letters that you use to signify silver in chemistry? Wow, ma'am. Wow, amazing. AG. And what are the letters used for magnesium? MG. And what are the letters used for iron? Fe. And what are the first 2 letters of the word female? Fe. Iron is in the word, ladies. Iron is in the word, Fe. It's right there. Iron grit, iron determination, iron potential, iron power. बस एक ही चीज करनी है. थोड़ा बहुत कहीं अगर पिंजड़ा बचा है ना परिंदे में, वो पिंजड़ा निकाल देंगे ना, उड़ान ऐसे भरेंगे कि क्या बताए. This is why Dennis Waitley said, we must have the wings to fly, but the roots to come back to. In the name of flying and exploring the world out there, don't forget our culture, our tradition, our family, our emotions, our relationships. Because it's a dirty world out there. Everybody's trying to outsmart you and throw you out. If you don't have somewhere to come back to, we'll be a nervous wreck. And in the name of being traditional, rooted, connected, cultured, don't waste your potential to fly high in the sky. Which is why this is my favorite quote. Wings to fly, but roots to come back to. The wings allow you to explore the sky with your fullest potential, but the roots give you a space of security because you know that the sky is the dirty place where the birds are all trying to get the biggest piece of cake. Once again, my heartiest congratulations to all the award winners. And since I'm down here, I'll sit in my seat. Thank you all very much.
Thank you so much, Gaur Gopal Dasji. That was a very enlightening speech. And yeah, FE is also there in Financial Express. So to bring back and to bring this back on course, like you mentioned, we shall now proceed. And with that, I'd like to invite, in fact, the editor of Financial Express, Mr. Shamal Majumdar, to take this evening forward and give us his introductory note. Shamal.
Thanks, Roshan. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Swamiji, for giving this award function a flying start. Welcome, all of you, once again to the Express Awards for Women Entrepreneurs, instituted by Financial Express as a joint initiative with FICCI Flow. Thank you all for accepting our invitation to be part of this wonderful function to celebrate the success of woman power and the achievements of quite a few exceptional ladies who are sitting here, who have trendsetters, call them innovators, call them trailblazers. They are all trailblazers in their respective fields. All of them have been on the front line doing their bit to break the outdated stereotypes. The bottom line that we at Express Group believe, and I wouldn't use the word empowered, as the Swamiji has said, I would say successful women are the best change agents. Look at the achievements of some of the winners today. India has just recently made at least one independent women director mandatory for India's top 1,000 listed companies. But one of the distinguished winners today, I wouldn't give the name because the mystery will go away. One of the distinguished women award winners today has been on the boards of not only Indian companies, but also several global companies many years ago. That's what you call breaking the stereotypes. Such inspirational stories have meant women have taken a quantum leap. They now account for 18% of the directorships of nifty companies. But as all of us must admit that there are many challenges. By some estimates, India will take 35 years to achieve 30% gender diversity on boards. There are other challenges too. For example, are we doing enough to increase women's participation in labor force, which is stuck at 20% for some time? Are Indian companies doing enough to bring in a culture of inclusivity, not only at the top, but also at the entire workplace? Now, these are questions we should ponder. For example, are we doing enough to bring back women between the age group of 28 to 35, a significant number of whom leave the workplace and still don't find enough avenues to come back to work? Now, Indian companies have made a lot of progress on that, but I think there is still a long, long way to go. A good beginning has been made, there is no doubt about it, and today's winners each superstars in their respective fields of work have shown when there is a will, there is a way. Congratulations to all of them. As my colleague Roshan said, what makes these awards particularly unique and distinctive is the jury, which comprised of industry icons. You already know the names, so I wouldn't repeat them. This year too, I have observed the jury functioning and the rigor that they have put in selection of the award winners has been a great educative experience for all of us at FICCI, Flow, as well as FE. So ladies and gentlemen, let's put our hands together for the jury members and the women award winners, please. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Shamalda. Requesting you to stay back on stage. And with that, I'd also like to invite on stage our keynote speaker, Mr. Ronnie Screwvala, and our guest of honor, Mr. Gaur Gopal Das ji, to come on stage while we go ahead with the awards presentation. The first category that we have for the evening is in travel and hospitality. Can we have the AB, please?
It is a great pleasure for me to announce Jyotsna Suri as the winner of the Travel and Hospitality Award. All of us know Jyotsna and the odds that she has had to battle. The Lalit Group has stayed consistent in its performance year on year. And the giving back strategy, which she has adopted, is remarkable. They don't waste any food. They grow a lot of stuff that they serve in the hotel. And basically 80% of their energy for the hotel comes from renewable energy resources. So not only a great entrepreneur, but also a social bent of mind. Congratulations.
I'd like to invite on stage Dr. Jyotsna Suri. Dr. Suri would like you to say a few words as well.
Thank you very much for this honor. Compliments and awards are never enough. And I have to humbly thank the Express Group for actually awarding me with this very prestigious award. As has been said, travel and tourism really went through its worst time. And we never thought we would ever be able to recover, but we have. And that's been because of our resilience. And truly, this award is very appropriate. It's come to me at the right time because it's going to motivate me to go even further. Thank you so much.
Can we have the next category now? And that is social impact. Can we have the AB, please?
Laila Tayyabji is an institution itself in the field of Indian arts and artisans. Her deep understanding and appreciation of Indian crafts and textile heritage led her to start Dastikar over 40 years ago, at a time when there was no CSR funding and limited understanding of the needs of this sector. She has dedicated her life to revolutionizing the crafts industry.
so much. Every time I get recognition for work which frankly has been such fun and so fulfilling, I feel a little guilty because quite honestly, it is the hundreds and thousands of craftspeople, men and women, who have really given me that pleasure and that satisfaction. And so this is for them. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Shamalda. And you can just exit. And I'd like to invite on stage Ms. Veena Patil, founder and managing director, Veena World, to join Shri Gaur Gopal Das ji and Mr. Ronnie Screwvala on stage for the next set of awards. So the next award we have is for education and skill development. Can we have the AV, please?
Dr. Indu Shani is a woman who exemplifies the power of purpose. Her presence today at this award ceremony, despite her recent personal tragedy, is a testimony of her dedication to 4 decades of an academic mission to deliver impactful education and future-ready skill development. On behalf of the jury and the entire Express Group, I would like to extend our heartfelt condolences to you, Induji, on your profound loss. I had the privilege of knowing your late husband, Ranjit, gentleman, and a very tall thought leader of the pharma world. He was so immensely proud of you and your achievements. May his soul rest in peace. Om Shanti. As for us, the jury, the choice was backed with overwhelming admiration. Atlas Skill Tech University, which Dr. Indu Shani founded in 2021, has rapidly grown into an academic center of eminence, having won several recognitions and awards in such a short time, including the Icons Award in 2022 for the top-ranking emerging design school in the country. Dr. Indu Shani is a well-respected woman leader who was recently recognized among Asia's 100 women power leaders. She is committed to developing managers, designers, and technologists of the future who are both creative and empathetic. We are therefore immensely proud to present this award to such an amazing woman of social purpose that has enormous role to play in nation building. Congratulations, Dr. Indu Shani. May you continue to inspire us all.
I thank the Indian Express and the distinguished jury for bestowing this award on me. It is a special moment for me today. I accept this award on behalf of my entire faculty fraternity all over the world and in India especially, and at Atlas Skill Tech University, who are driving the skilling revolution today, which is so much needed. And therefore, I dedicate this award not only to the faculty, but I dedicate this award to my students who have always been my inspiration.
Thank you, ma'am. The next category we have is for health and wellness. Can we have the AV, please?
Meena Ganesh, who I've known for a long time now, is deeply deserving of this prestigious Woman Entrepreneur Award in the health and wellness space. She has been a serial entrepreneur, extremely good at what she does, but in this area, in the area of home health, she has truly set it on the Indian map. Many others have followed her lead, but she has taken high level of healthcare, critical care, to people's doorsteps. She has provided personnel for families, for their parents who, for children who live far away, for their parents, a companion, someone to look after them. She's actually done the whole gamut of home health care, which I think is phenomenal. It may be a great business space to be in, but more than anything else, she's done it for the social good. She's truly deserving of this award. I'd like her to wish her the very best. And in this category, I think Meena Ganesh has been a trailblazer, and everybody else has followed after her. So wishing her and Portia the best, and congratulations. This is truly well deserved.
Ladies and gentlemen, Meena Ganesh. Ma'am, a few words.
Many thanks to the Express Group and the the jury that have been kind enough to give this recognition to me. Like Preeta said, this particular category, the outside of hospital healthcare category, really was non-existent in this country 10 years back, and my own personal experiences made me realize that there was something drastically missing in this country. Which is a real problem for elders, for people with critical diseases, long-term issues, and also when COVID struck, what else could we do but to stay at home and ask for care? So it has been a very, very emotional journey for me, because it's very transformative, it is very difficult, it is very challenging to do this, but it makes a big difference to people's lives. And of course, the primary thanks goes to my staff who go out and do this service on a day-to-day basis. It's one of the most difficult kind of services that you have to do in somebody's home without a doctor and without a facility to stand up for you. So you have to stand up for yourself as the person who's serving the customer at that end. So my entire thanks and my congratulations to them for having been able to achieve this. So with that, thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Ms. Veena Patlikan. I'd like to now invite on stage Ms. Abha Dalmia, founder of FICCI Flow, and Sudha Shivkumar, National President, FICCI Flow, for the next set of awards. The next category that we have is media and entertainment. Can we have the AVP?
Good evening. I'd like to congratulate Zoya Akhtar and Rima Khaki for this Express Award. They're truly deserving, and their work in the area of the film industry has been truly exemplary and innovative. And the collaboration with Tiger Baby Films has really taken it to another level. I particularly love their work, and I have seen their movie Zindagi Na Milega Dobara, Dil Dhadakne Do, Gully Boy, and it's really a different message which is portrayed. It is very captivating, innovative, and I think their artistry has come across extremely well. This award it truly encompasses the talent of Indian women and their capabilities in the filmmaking landscape. I wish them both the very best, while I congratulate them from the bottom of my heart. God bless.
Can we have Ms. Zoya Akhtar on stage and Rima Khaki as well? Can we have a few words, please? Yeah.
It's a real honor to be here with so many distinguished women. Big thank you to the jury and the Indian Express Group.
Thank you to the Express Group for this. And we started our company, Tiger Baby, so that we could control our narrative and tell our own story. And hopefully platform stories of people that are like-minded to us. So to be validated for that in a group with such amazing women is very gratifying. Thank you very much.
Thank you. The next category that we have is for finance and venture capital. Can we have the AB, please?
Renuka Ramnath. From a long career with ICICI Bank and ICICI Ventures, Renuka Ramnath took a bold step 15 years ago to branch off on her own to start Multiple Asset Management, a leading private equity fund in India today. Her astute financial acumen, experience, and understanding of the challenges of the PE business has resulted in Multiples growing to become a $1 billion PE fund in India today. Renuka's name is synonymous with private equity in India. She thrived on challenges that came her way in a long and illustrious career, consistently finding solutions to succeed and provide extraordinary returns to investors. She is an exemplary role model for all women entrepreneurs and a worthy winner of today's award in the finance and VC category.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Ms. Renuka Ramnath on stage.
Good evening. Thank you, Indian Express Group. Good evening. Thank you, Indian Express Group, FICCI Flow, and members of the jury. I'm very overwhelmed to hear these words about me from a guru in finance, Mr. Deepak Parekh. I just can't express how emotional I am today to be acknowledged by this outstanding jury as a worthy winner. Well, I owe a lot of gratitude to my boss, Mr. Kamath, who allowed me to be an entrepreneur. Sitting inside a large regulated entity called ICICI Bank, the amount of freedom that was given to me to go out and explore setting up new businesses is quite incomparable. And the reason I share this is many of you here in the audience and many others who will be viewing this or reading about it are in a position to allow that kind of freedom to their team members and create new entrepreneurs in this beautiful country called India. I dedicate this award to all the entrepreneurs I backed when I was in ICICI Venture who made me an entrepreneur. If it was not such proximate relationship with those entrepreneurs in building their enterprises, creating value, and seeing the all-round impact in the economy, I would not have got the courage and, more importantly, the strong inner motivation to become an entrepreneur. Today, in Multiples, which is a firm that I built from scratch, we are managing about $3 billion of capital. I am training each and every team member in my team to work and think and engage with other entrepreneurs like an entrepreneur. The financial community is often accused of trying to understand and direct businesses from spreadsheets. That's exactly what we don't do at Multiples. We drive our entrepreneurs by engaging with them, by seeing their dreams through their eyes, understanding their heart, and guiding their mind to channelize the energy of themselves and their team to build lasting enterprises which turn the wheels of this economy. And that's really the distinction we are trying to build in Multiples. I would say that many women, particularly, it can be more generally said of many professionals, we dither from becoming an entrepreneur because we think it is very risky. I think that the risk is the same whether you become an entrepreneur or you're trying to build a great career within an organization. However, the freedom you have for expression of your dreams when you're an entrepreneur is just unparalleled. And I would strongly urge both men and women to become an entrepreneur. And I feel in a country like India, where we need to generate a lot of employment to achieve that growth that the political leaders have said, we need many, many entrepreneurs. Having turned one, I feel anybody who can give jobs should not seek a job. That is a simple mission that I have. If I can give employment, I should not stand in line for an employment. Second, and the most important, the world out there is truly a benevolent world. When I stepped out of ICICI, my biggest worry was nobody will recognize me. Who am I? Nothing. I was MD, CEO of ICICI Venture, had a big office, I had 200 people, professionals, high-quality professionals who were working for ICICI Venture, the team that I was leading, had a big card. I had a car, I had an office, I had everything. And I was out on the street absolutely as nothing, as just Renuka. And when I stepped out of my house, the very first day when I stepped out as just Renuka, my father was sitting there in the drawing room, bewildered. Where is his daughter going today? And who is she going to meet? He said, Renu, where are you going? I said, I'm going out to meet a few people. She said, will they meet you? I said, that's exactly what I'm going to assess, Appa. Bless me. And I had Zia Modi, Deepak Parekh, Anand Mahindra, Mr. Sunabala, and scores of people who welcomed me, to advise me, to encourage me, to caution me, to guide me as to how to turn a successful entrepreneur. The amount of help, the amount of guidance, completely unsolicited, that I have received from everyone is quite unbelievable. Therefore, for me, building Multiples has been a spiritual journey rather than an economic journey. There is a lot of help out there. During your course, try and build as much goodwill, do as much good with selflessness, and it comes back to you in Multiples, is my true experience. I really want to thank the jury again, and I want to, of course, immensely thank my parents who have never questioned any of my bold moves and have unquestioningly supported me. And the other famous thing I like to say is, my children raised me rather than I raised my children. So all of you be blessed with great family to to turn a great professional and entrepreneur. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. And now for the next award category. And this is the Promising FICCI Flow Entrepreneur Award. Can we have the AB?
Avarna Jain was unanimously selected as the AWE winner from FICCI Flow this year. As a director of Sarigama, which has the largest repertoire of music in India, Avarna Jain has helped steer a 100-year-old legacy company into the digital world. Driven by the need to do better every time, she has broken the mythical glass ceiling and has been a role model to millions of girls globally. Congratulations, Avarna, and wish you all the very best.
Much. Financial Express, Anant. It's not working?
It's working.
It's working. Thank you so much, Financial Express, Anant, Sudhaji, Flo. I'm absolutely honored and humbled to be receiving this award in the presence of so many illustrious women here. It just shows me how much more I need to achieve and how much harder I need to work. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Screwvala, Shri Gaur Gopal Das ji, Avad Almia ma'am, Sudha Shivakumar ma'am. Thank you so much. Okay, that brings us to the next session of this evening. Our chief guest for the evening is someone who doesn't need much introduction. You'll have seen him on television for many years, and he's an entrepreneur in his own right. He's also an investor, a film producer. He has been named as Esquire's list of the 75 most influential people on the 21st century back in 2008. He was ranked 78 among the 100 most influential people in the world on the Time 100 list. He was also listed amongst 25 Asia's most powerful people by Fortune magazine. Mr. Ronnie Screwvala pioneered cable television, built a media entertainment company, UTV, which all of you know. And UTV had partnered with News Corp, 20th Century Fox, and then as well as Walt Disney, to which he finally divested the company too. He's also, along with his wife, they've scaled their non-profit, the Swadesh Foundation, to work with 1 million people in rural India, empowering them and to move them out of poverty. He also co-founded Upgrad, which he's currently working on, which is in the online education space. And now he's back in media content creation with RSVP. And he's also built a sports company and authored a book titled Dream with Your Eyes Open. I'd like to invite on stage now our chief guest, Mr. Ronnie Screwvala. And joining him, our guest of honor, Shri Gaur Gopal Das ji. Oh, sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I just skipped ahead. I'd like to invite on stage Mr. Ronnie Screwvala, and along with him, Ms. Zia Modi, and of course, Executive Director of the Indian Express Group, Mr. Anand Goenka.
Zia auntie asked me if she can just go out for a quick call, and I said yes, you're not required on stage immediately. And sure enough.
With a lawyer, there's no quick call.
So I think, can we start? Do you think we can just, yeah, you don't mind, we don't want to keep audience waiting for too long, and I'm sure she'll be with us in a second, just on the way. Ronnie uncle, can I call you uncle on stage or should I?
No, absolutely not.
Okay,
Out of the
fine.
question.
I'll try not to.
Out of the question.
Ronnie G, Mr. Screwvala, what do I do? What do I just Ronnie? Okay, I'll try. So he's been like a mentor to me since I was 16 years old, and I've just proofread so much of the work that he's done that so sort of I know his career so well, better than most people would, I think, and.
Zia, we need you on stage.
Sorry, I apologize to the crowd for Sorry. No,
He was polite. He said you went for a call. He didn't say the other thing.
Okay, so two stalwarts in front of us. It's wonderful to have you, and thank you all for taking the time. I thought maybe we can just start by kind of sharing with us that, to be entrepreneurial today versus when you all started out, it's a bit of a full toss, but still, how much has that changed? I mean, what do you need to be successful as an entrepreneur today compared to when you all started out?
Yeah, you want to go first?
I think the mindset is easier today because of all the examples of successful startups. I think that there is more backing from the family, men or women, young boys or young girls. The risk-taking mindset is just much higher than it was when I started, at least.
I speak to a lot of colleagues, and I think for me, when I started off, I used to always look for people who can solve problems. I think today's generation, we have to be problem spotters, not problem solvers. Because frankly, there isn't any time to solve the problem. You're only successful if you can spot it before it can happen.
Interesting. We're celebrating entrepreneurs, and we're celebrating just the spirit of entrepreneurism. But the four biggest poster children of Startup India, Ola, Dream11, Byju's, and Paytm. All four are in some kind of trouble, and they're all trouble for different reasons. Ola, to some degree, has taken, maybe they were too aggressive as a business. Dream11, there's retrospective, it's a regulatory problem. Byju's is a governance issue, and Paytm, I don't know how to describe that problem. But so the four biggest. The four most inspiring names are suddenly now coming into question in a sense. So while we celebrate, my question is, the risk appetite that Ziaji was talking about, is that something which, you think still stands even today?
Well, I'd answer it in two ways. I think, firstly, I don't know many industrial groups that haven't gone through their highs and lows. So I think if you go back to the 30 years and the 40 years, you'll always find the cycle on that. So I think to actually hurl it and spotlight a few, everyone's gone through their cycles. And some of the best groups best managed groups of that. And I think there is a time and a place for it. So that would be my first answer. I think second, we give too much spotlight to the top of the pyramid because today we're also celebrating, and I've seen that from the awards here, actually the middle of the pyramid of India, which actually represents the best. And I think there's enough spotlight there. There's an incredible amount of strong passion. Governance is an issue. I think that comes from maturity, but it also comes from the investors that come into the company. It's a two-way street. And I've always maintained that because I think when you need that mentoring and guidance, that's when you need your board of directors, you need your investors to actually give you that. Otherwise, like I give the example, if I had a 16-year-old son, and if he took the keys at 2 o'clock in the morning, drove the car and banged it up, I think I need to have 50% of the moral responsibility as to why he did that. And I think today, that's how you need an entire board to function and an ecosystem to function.
Ziaji?
I don't think I disagree with Ronnie. I think that, the jury's still out on those four and what they will do and what their journey will be, and I don't think it's necessarily all going down the tube.
Yeah.
I think that there are a lot of, so we had 44 unicorns in 2022?
Yes.
That's a story. We only had 1 or 2 in 2023. But I think that our entrepreneurship journey as a nation, I think, has now got global recognition.
Yes.
The fact that we have foreign money coming in to back young people, because people have made money. It's not that they haven't. And so I think the interest will continue.
Yeah.
And I think that the ability of youngsters to deliver value will 100% be there.
And you know, one thing that I think even Swamiji touched on a little bit is that there's a certain attitude that I feel when I meet startup entrepreneurs. There are a few in the room today who we all kind of know, and friends of mine also. You know, you can call it a junoon, you can call it whatever you want, but it actually comes across as arrogance. There's a certain kind of conviction, and that kind of sometimes becomes into this kind of arrogance. In fact, it's become a thing that the tech founder, the tech startup guy, and how he or she, the swag of does that sometimes come in the way of navigating the tough job of entrepreneurship?
No, I think you need self-conviction. That's your only reservoir you have, right? Otherwise, you're not going to have any setbacks or failures. The only thing you can fall back on is your self-conviction. So I think that tanking up is very, very, very critical. I think the two things I worry about is a sense of entitlement. I think today's generation, also all of us and entrepreneurs, start with a little sense of entitlement, and that worries me, because I think I've grown and I've been a product where I think I've survived 30 years of more failures than successes, primarily because I don't think I start with an attitude of entitlement. So that is something I would watch out for. And I think like any other place, when success overtakes your perception of life, I think that's the other one. So that too, I think, are two things we need to watch out for. But otherwise, I think today, the whole spirit of the nation is that tomorrow is going to be better than yesterday.
Of course.
So if that's the case, you need to go with that.
Yeah. And India is kind of just lined up, right? Everything is kind of pointing toward, all over the world, it's all India, from each metric you look at, sort of India is the best place to be doing business. Is there anything that scares you about being a business person, entrepreneur in India?
It's ours to lose.
Ours to lose.
If, throughout my business trips to the West and to the South Asia, if anybody is not excited about India, I've not heard it.
Yeah.
It is our decade, unless we do something wrong to ourselves. And I think just as a democracy, aspirational set of youth with the world in our hands through our mobile, we just need to stay the course. And the course has to be one of governance at the end of the day. That's what will get our nation through and make this trillion whatever.
Yeah, but government, sorry, you want to add something?
No, I was going to say, actually, optimism is phenomenal, but I think it needs to come with a sense of realism.
Okay.
And that would be one aspect. The second one I do believe is that we might be a 5 trillion economy, and I'm sure we'll get there. But the income divide in this country is something that I think we should all be concerned about. Because I think if the income disparity grows and grows, we can't be an absolute developed country unless we can have some more sense of wealth balance and some sense of income parity between people. I can see that because I run a not-for-profit and I run a for-profit. And you can see the stark reality in how you want to do that. So I think if we don't take the aspirations of the 600 million people to account when the other 600 million people feel achieved, that's going to be a problem.
And that's kind of, the moral position from which government keeps getting involved, especially in the startup world, right? There's always some regulation, and they're always struggling to keep up because there's so much, technology is so many steps ahead of regulation and governance and just the law. So is that something, Ziyaji, that would kind of concern you, that government and regulation is not able to quite figure out how to deal with this all these entrepreneurs and this kind of
I think the more government stays out of it, the better. Unless there's a reason for government to intervene.
The government's intervened in fintech, government's intervened in edtech, government's intervened in
the
all
RBI
kinds
has
of tech.
intervened because they see some systemic issues. So that has to be addressed from a security point of view of the payment system.
Yeah.
But you look at our classic IT sector, there was no government regulation and intervention. So I think maybe the only comment is that when there is intervention, it should not be knee-jerk, and one bad apple should not spoil the other thriving apples in the sector. That will come with the regulator's sense of how it's spread, which you and I don't know about. There's a lot of data that we don't have, which our regulator has when they decide X or Y. But I think that the less regulation, obviously the better.
But dependency?
I would say, Anand, actually, regulation today is becoming more reactive than proactive. That's because everything is changing so fast. And that means for most people to actually preempt something, because it takes a year, year and a half for research and a regulation to pass through the entire bureaucracy, by which time things have changed. So we need to be realistic for that for next decade, 2 decades. I think regulation will be a little bit more reactive than proactive.
They're
and when you
already
hear
reactive,
ones,
right?
then it just sounds like knee-jerk, it sounds stronger, it sounds preventive, it sounds all the negative things to it, but that's how it's going to pan out. And that's the business environment.
And so what's your advice to the entrepreneurs? Like, how often should they engage with government? When should they engage with government? At what point do you feel like they need to have, their sort of concerns taken to a larger platform? Because generally they kind of work in a silo. They know their customer very well, of course, but they kind of stay about, everything else they kind of stay away from.
Well, I think it's tricky. You have a conversation that is too preemptive, and you can be opening up doors that don't need to be opened up. So I don't think there's a clear advice that go out there and engage with government or regulators, because actually, in a sense, the more you self-regulate and the more you do what you want to do, and the more you're under the radar, I think that's one way to look at that. So self-regulation in the industry where I think people get together and form some sense of cooperation is very important.
But you see, there are so many consultation papers, there are so many press articles, where if regulators have started expressing concern, you've read it, right?
It shouldn't be a surprise.
It shouldn't be a surprise. And so if you have your own sense of good advocacy and a rationale and a logical reason for this or that, and you're seeing it coming, then go and talk about it to industry associations or whatever. But it's very rare that a regulator does something overnight.
So they always give enough signs and indications. D2C businesses, we keep hearing about dependencies. That's a big part of, all these dreams that entrepreneurs
Zia wanted to understand what D2C was, she asked me. So Anand, please explain to Zia D2C.
No, I understood.
No, I mean it because actually I also wanted to understand.
Direct to customer.
There's a fine line between B2C and D2C.
That we all understand.
Okay, so essentially the market all over the world kind of gives a premium to companies that are able to establish direct relationship with the consumers, and so that direct to consumer, direct to customer relationship, when it becomes a business model, is kind of what most D2C businesses are kind of aiming for. But the dependencies for these businesses end up with a few people, whether it's a telecom operator, whether it's big tech, Google, Amazon, Jio, whatever. How do you recommend for entrepreneurs to navigate these dependencies? Because at some point you build, in my industry, we built, so across the world, you've seen businesses built on Facebook and Google's algos, and then the algos change and your businesses are wiped out. So, and a big part of entrepreneurship is that you kind of just pick you pick platforms to get access to.
See, well, there are two parts to it. I think when you're starting up, you need to obviously, the other option is to go B2B and start. But I think if you're determined and you're clear that it's a B2C, you'll have to open up your channels. I think that in India, price sensitivity is a big problem. I think we spend too little time understanding the consumer. We're already starting to figure out what's the search words on the social media, and the herd mentality comes in. I found 9 out of 10 companies less focused on understanding their consumer, where they can find them, how they want to communicate with them, and what are the other channels outside of the, what you call the conventional, the big 5 that are looking at India. So that to me changes the face of what needs to be done. So I think if you're building it at the grassroots level and down up, there's incredible businesses actually being built there. Yes, there are duopolies in some of the segments, but it took 10, 20 years for those duopolies to happen, partly because of reactive regulation, partly because of many other aspects there. But I think today there are many other sectors where you've got 5, 7, 10, 15 players. I mean, you've mentioned telecom, but automotive is different. So that for every one industry here, there'll be another industry there. But I think for the younger startups, I think from day one, we need to double down and on understanding a consumer more, where we can find them, how we communicate with them. Because actually the mediums you all talked about, where we spend a lot of money, is a 10-second, 5-second communication. How do you sell a brand? How do you sell a communication? How do you sell a service or a product? If all you have is a 5-second search element to communicate. You're not building a brand.
And so is that an advice you would say, that invest time, money, effort, energy in building a brand? Because I see this all the time. They just spend on channel sales. They just talk about selling widgets on using Google,
Yeah, that money is going for awareness. Let's not fool ourselves. We're not building a brand. We're just building a sense of awareness.
Okay, super. And if we can move to, Ziaji, anything to add? We move to the investor side, then I'll get to a quick rapid fire. Just walk us through the investor's mindset in India, the Indian investor, whether it's a large family office or whether it's a, whether it's a firm like Renuka's, or, what do you think it'll take for an Indian sort of money bag, or how you define it, to become, KPMG or Morgan Stanley or KKR? What sort of, are we more risk averse than the foreign guys are? Are we just, we're just going to take time to get more experienced? When do investors kind of become and have that kind of clout and that kind of sure?
I think you're seeing that happen right now. I think Renuka just talked about multi-billion dollars.
Yeah.
You've got 5, 6 other Indian names. I don't think any of them are aspiring to be a Morgan Stanley or a Goldman Sachs at this point, for full due respect on the other side too. I don't think anyone's aspiring for that. And I think today, if you look at the Indian stock market, for the first time, even for the new economy companies, there's a lot more Indian money backing it than foreign money. Less and less people are going to Hong Kong, New York, London, San Francisco, and Boston for road shows, and they've ever done so before. So I think we're in a good place.
Do you feel, you deal with all the sort of so many, all the foreign money and all the, you've seen on both sides.
It's all different, right? You have the larger PE funds who definitely have an IC to respond to, the LPs who are large themselves, so they will be more cautious. But then you have the venture capital funds that have been investing before the slowdown last year, a company every month. They are willing to take the risks for smaller amounts of capital, Series B, Series C, Series D. You see large sovereigns investing in Series C and Series D funds. So I don't think one size fits all at all. I think that by its very nature, the larger the fund that is here is going to have to be more answerable for its bets in India.
Super. Should we do a quick rapid fire for both of you? Please, it's a fun section, so you have some fun with it.
I just had one thing, since we're at an appropriate forum here, that I wanted to comment on, because I heard statistics that we're making now projections of in 2030 or 30% of, it'll take 10 years for 30% of board to be women. I just feel today in the benchmark of what we're doing here, I think we're recognizing great amount of achievements. But I think we kind of missed the benchmark a little bit on women achievers, because at the end of the day, we always benchmark it with corporate. And I think maybe over a period of time at the Express Group also, I think there's an incredible 360-degree approach to what women bring to the table, that we don't always index it with corporate achievements or board achievements and whatever else, but I think it's something that's very important.
So, if I can come in there, I say this a bit often, maybe much too often, but I think both men and women have not figured out that most of the corporate problems are because men are on the board, right? If you see traditional boards which are consisting of men, those corporates have had serious problems. So what is this woman thing? I have not understood. See, why do we have to select a great woman, but we can have an average man? So I think we need our benchmarks and mindsets to change. It's not a man or a woman. It's a good, intelligent, reasonably committed human being. And I think the best way for corporates to have the 30% much faster, Ronnie, is I have always said, set goals, KRAs, with financial incentives or disincentives to your middle managers. Your middle managers should be asked to report how many men, how many women, how many left, why did they leave, how many have you brought in, what's the story, here's a check which is a little less or a little more. It works, money talks. Otherwise, most middle managers, if women leave, say, oh, what to do, she had to stay at home. That doesn't work. You make it a financial commitment for you to make them stay in the office. How difficult is it to have a conversation? It's not. Men can't have that conversation, so let the women have it. But men have to command that that conversation be had, because even today, who rules corporate boardrooms? It's not us, it's you.
So because you said that, so this is our third year. The first year, Sheryl Sandberg was our keynote. The second year, Indra Nooyi. And I asked both of them a question I want to ask both of you. And, it's a stupid question to ask, I know, but I'll still ask it because I like the answer. What is that, just tell all the entrepreneurs, what is that one reason why you need to do this affirmative action and ensure that there is that gender diversity in your workforce? What is that reason? Is there a...
The world is not equal without us. If we hold up half the sky and we are two wings of a dove, if we are not there, you're inadequate, ultimately.
So your business isn't equipped to deal with its customers?
It's less equipped.
It's less equipped.
It can be better equipped if you bring us more into
more diversity.
Exactly.
Anything you want to add to that answer, just as a reminder?
I think conscious keeper is there. I think my wife is my conscious keeper for almost everything I do.
Yeah.
So as far as I'm concerned, on the internal board, the family board, we always keep looking at the corporate board, but the family board is 10 times more powerful than the corporate board.
There's no choice. No?
Okay, super. So quick rapid fire. I'll ask a question directed to both of you.
1 minute. Guruji himself said so.
Yeah.
It's his mother.
His mother, yes, of course. Okay. Experience or education?
Experience.
Yeah.
Experience.
Trump or Biden, who's better for the global economy?
Don't ask.
I think for India, both will work.
Okay. But global economy?
Biden.
Biden, okay. What should an Indian startup fear more? Being iced? China-Taiwan war? Disrupted by big tech? Investors turning activists hostile? Tough journalism? Retrospective laws? Or rising cost of customer acquisition?
None of the above.
Governance.
Governance, okay. One regret in your professional career?
That I may not have given it the focus, everything that I wanted to do. Today I do a lot more on focus. At that time, at the earlier stages, you're very opportunistic. So if I'd focused on a few more things in life.
Contrary to what Guruji says, the guilt that Indira Nooyi had.
Okay. The one achievement in your professional career you're most proud of?
Hopefully is yet to come.
The one moment you're
The one achievement in your professional career you're most proud of?
Staying the course.
One thing Indian entrepreneurs can learn from American entrepreneurs. I'll ask you first, Yaji.
From American entrepreneurs?
Yeah.
I don't know, risk-taking.
Risk-taking.
Yeah, there's a big dearth out there. I think we'll both pass on it.
Yeah.
Okay. One thing men in business should learn...
Sorry, all our Indian boys are out there, right?
Yeah. Yeah. One thing men in business should learn from women.
To have more of them on the board.
Take deep breaths.
Okay. The one entrepreneur you're most inspired by and the one legal mind you're most inspired by. The one entrepreneur and the one legal mind you're both most inspired by.
Yeah, I'd say Elon Musk.
Elon Musk, okay.
Ruth Ginsburg.
Ruth Ginsburg, okay. The one ingredient that you need to be a successful entrepreneur today that wasn't crucial when you all were starting out.
Sorry.
The one ingredient that you need to be a successful entrepreneur today that you didn't need as much when you were starting out.
less reliant on outside capital, not think that burning is good forever, all the time.
Okay.
Have a balance sheet that ultimately delivers value.
The bottom line. We need a bottom line.
I think you need to be thick-skinned because it's quite a lonely journey and it gets lonelier.
Okay. There are 4 management styles: authoritarian, democratic, laissez-faire, and coaching. These are the 4 well-recognized management styles. Which management style do you most get gravitated to invest in? And which management style do you like being against when you're sort of...
Which style I don't like?
You like being against when you're on the opposite side in an argument, an arbitration, whatever, in a litigation.
I like to win. So I don't know which one that is.
Which style do you like to invest in? Which style resonates most with you?
Yeah, I mean, democratic would be, out of the 4, I'll
Ronnie.
pick that.
Super. Thank you guys so much. Thank you for making time. Thank you for being here. Yeah, thanks. I'd like to request Mr. Ronnie Screwvala to just stay back on stage. Thank you, Zia ma'am. And now I'd like to ask Mr. Anand Goenka to present a sketch created by our illustrator at the Indian Express, Mr. Subhojit De, as a token of appreciation to Ronnie Screwvala. Can you just stay back? I'd now like to invite our guest of honor, Mr. Gaur Gopal ji, on stage. And we'd like to present you with a sketch. Thank you. And now to continue with the awards ceremony, I'd like to ask Anand to stay back on stage. And of course, I'd like our chief guest as well as our guest of honor also to join Anand on stage for the next set of awards. So the next award that we have is for the Newsmaker of the Year. And this is a big award. This is for the Newsmaker of the Year. Can we have the AB, please?
Hello and congratulations to Ananya Birla as Newsmaker of the Year. It is an utter delight for the jury to give her this award. Ananya has recently received the largest private equity investment in any microfinance company of nearly 2,000 crores. She has basically over 42 lakh customers in 20 states, 17,000 employees, and you can imagine how this can only scale and expand and do what we all want, which is to take microfinance to the various states and the villages and the cities. So Ananya, keep up the good work, and we are all extremely proud of you. Well done.
Ladies and gentlemen, can we have a big round of applause for Ms. Ananya Birla?
big thank you to Indian Express, Anant, FICCI, and of course the esteemed jury for finding me worthy enough for this extremely prestigious award. Thank you to Zia Auntie for all the lovely words that you said. A big thank you to my entire team, each and every one of you, 19,449, have contributed to helping Swatantra reach where we are today. There's lots more to do. I feel very honored and privileged to be able to contribute a little bit to the growth of our country. I truly think that when we empower women and help them to become financially independent, it contributes massively to our economy. I've never done this before. I don't know why, but I want to dedicate this award to my father.
Mr. Kumar Mangalam Bella is also in the room. He's right here.
I think it feels really weird to say this, but I think all of you recognize him as a splendid business person, but I think he is an even better father. So this is for you, Papa. Thank you so much for giving all three of your kids and your wife and your entire family the wings that we have today. We would not be anywhere without you. And yeah, you're the best dad. So again, a big thank you to the Indian Express Group. It's been an honor. Thank you. It means a lot. Thank you.
And now for the Lifetime Achievement Award, and this is the big award for the evening. Can we have the AB, please?
Good evening, everyone. Hi, Swati. Many, many congratulations for the Lifetime Achievement Award. What an exceptional honor and truly well-deserved. It's a fitting tribute to the person you are and the life you have lived, dedicated to progress, passion, innovation, spirituality, research, creativity, and joy. Swati, you're the most creative person I know. Whether it's writing a poem or hosting a flower show or making medicines, you're always doing things differently. You're a doctor by qualification and most passionate about putting Indian science on the world map. Ajay Bhai couldn't have achieved so much without your support or without you encouraging him to take risks. You're not just a wonderful wife and mother, but Ajay Bhai's equal business partner. I'm so happy that not just Indian women, but our granddaughter, Adya Shakti, has someone like you to look up to. Swati, you have been a great partner to many international companies. But I know your most successful partnership is yet to come. And that is with me in bringing up our darling grandchildren, Adya Shakti and Krishna. May you continue to inspire our babies and the coming generations. Congratulations once again, my friend, and lots of love.
Right. And like they say, the world is full of surprises, and this was a surprise from Neeta Ambani. I'd also like to play the, inviting Dr. Swati Piramal up on stage now. We also have a sketch as well for Dr. Swati Piramal. And we'd now like to hear a few words from you.
Actually, I've asked my good friend Anand for a small other surprise also.
Really?
So Anand, can I ask you to please come on stage and just give us a small, share with us a little bit about Swati Auntie and why she's such an amazing person.
Because God couldn't be everywhere. He made mothers. And whatever little I am, I owe to my mother and my father. But today, I'm very privileged to speak a little bit about my mother, not just as a mother, but as a business leader. 3 things, Mom, that I feel I've learned a lot from you. One is that build a business not just to make money, but to make a difference. My mother is a medical doctor, and she got into the profession because she wanted to serve people. Later on in her career, she realized that businesses, and especially pharmaceuticals, you don't just save people, but you can save many people. And you can also make lives by giving people employment and work. And she then went into the pharmaceutical sector. I've learned from my mother that profit is like oxygen. You require profit you require, just like a human being requires oxygen to survive. Businesses require profit, but the purpose of a human and a business is just to do more than inhale oxygen and to make a profit and to make a bigger difference. Every time I go to a sales center or one of our branches, I tell people, I start the speech by speaking about the social impact of our businesses, and this is what keeps me going every day. Second, I've learned from my mother about the importance of taking risks. My father, when he was in 28, took over his business. It was a bankrupt textile business. At that time, the Datta Saman strike just outside this road happened, and it was the longest strike in the history of the world. And my father wanted to do something else. And it's easy for a wife, when the floor is collapsing below you, you've lost your father and brother in quick succession, businesses in doldrums, to take a safer spot. But my mother encouraged my father to start pharmaceutical business, and today that sector is much bigger than the textile industry. So Mom, you've always encouraged us to take risks, to realize that destiny is not written in the lines of our palms, but by the grasp of our hands. And all of us have to reach out and to grasp and make our own destiny. Thirdly, I've learned from my mother the importance of respecting knowledge. In our household, the teacher was always given most respect, much more than even a spiritual leader or a business person. And my mother used to say, in the West, they teach you knowledge is power, but in India, prajonam brahma, which is, as you know, that knowledge is God. And we always try in my life to surround myself with great professionals, people who are brighter than me. And the other thing that you've also taught me, and you've been very empowering, on the way here, I was calling my wife and I asked her, what's the one thing you admire most about my mother? And she said, I could not have imagined a mother-in-law to be so less interfering and so empowering, that my mother allowed me at 34 to get married and to wait till I find the woman that I love. So that's another example of empowerment. But this combination of respecting talent and empowering them, you can never attract the best people if you don't empower them. So I've learned all this from you, Mom. Mom, you say that I only talk business with my father, but you have had a much more profound influence in my life than anyone else. So thank you.
Thanks. Thanks, Anand. And we have another message as well for you from Mr. Deepak Parekh. Can we have that message, please?
Dr. Swati Piramal, the ever-graceful Vice Chairperson of a global business conglomerate, the Piramal Group, and the winner of this year's Express Award for Lifetime Achievement, is a leading industrialist, philanthropist, scientist, and a medical doctor. She has, over the past 3 decades, endeavored to provide cost-effective and science-based healthcare delivery. Honored with Padma Shri, Dr. Piramal has authored several books, been on key government bodies, and also on the board of Harvard University. As the first woman president of India's Apex Chamber of Commerce, ASSOCHAM, in 90 years, she ensured women lead every industry within the Apex Chamber. From just a few women scientists when she started out, today Piramal has over 50% women scientists and a patent cell making big wins worldwide. Congratulations, Dr. Swati Piramal.
Dr. Swati Piramal has been known to encapsulate a myriad bouquet of talents. She is a student of medicine, a horticulturist, a gourmet delicacy creator, an entrepreneur, an organizational leader, a rose with many petals. How does one describe such a gargantuan personality? She conquers every sphere of activity with a zeal for learning and a penchant for manifestations of excellence. She is meticulous in every endeavor. Her home and life are open to sages and czars alike. Swati has won many a hearts with a sweet display of grace and comfort. She has been a harbinger of good taste with a Belgian chocolate ice cream that has won me over many a times. Hearty congratulations, Swati. Every accolade is the forerunner for many more strew your already glorious path.
I'd like now to invite Dr. Swati Piramal to say a few words.
Guruji, Ronnie, Anand, and all my friends over here, especially the jury. Thank you, Zia, Kiran, and so many others. I wanted to finish this Lifetime Achievement Award, or accept it gracefully, with a poem called Grace. It is a song of my heart. In the same week that you have awarded me Lifetime Achievement, my daughter Nandini also had an award, the most influential woman. And my daughter-in-law Isha is the most powerful woman award. So it's really not about awards, but the grace of the Lord, that women are educated, powerful, influential, and control their own destiny. We as a family are blessed that not just the men, but their women too, are making the world a better place. It's really about the grace of the Almighty. In our life, there is always an inflection point. Mine was seeing a young girl, age 4, paralyzed from neck down. Her limbs were unmoving because of polio. I resolved to make a no-polio zone in Parel, a mill district endemic with polio, just outside the door of this hotel. In a few years, the goal was achieved, and I had a taste of public health, that prevention is better than cure. Mother Teresa visited my clinic and wrote, "Keep the joy of loving in the suffering children you serve, and then share that joy with all you meet. Remember that works of love are works of peace." Life took another turn when we acquired Nicholas Labs. As Ajay and I built the pharma company, climbing step by step, lessons were learned with the greatest of hard work. Again, the grace of the Almighty was holding our hand. It was time to give back to the country. And I served as the Apex Chamber of Commerce, and I started 100 women-led committees at ASSOCHAM. They really didn't know what hit them. A force that could never be ignored for policy change. So it's the Nari Shakti of the Almighty that makes us powerful women. Serving on all the global boards that were mentioned was a great experience. France, Switzerland, Italy, Spain, Japan, the Middle East, USA. What makes my heart sing is that I could help form new policies that helped correct eye problems, heart diseases, or nutrition around the world. The spirit of service transcends and binds us as all humans. Grace is seen everywhere. Knowledge, action, and care are the values in the Gita. My heart sings when I serve a 350-year-old board at Harvard with a commitment to learn, constantly learn, and apply solutions to complex real-world problems. Each one is a learning experience. Jnana is a grace of knowledge. Anand mentioned to me that is really important. Acting on knowledge and preserving it meant a battle for intellectual property in early days of my career. Mine was a lonely voice. Karma and bhakti are the grace of values. What makes my heart sing is when a young girl of 8 can read a newspaper in her village school, when a young girl aged 17 runs a self-help group to combat the ills of alcoholism and child marriage in tribals in Odisha, when a young graduate decides to impact 1 million children who are out of school systems, when a group of young students decides to drop maternal and infant mortality rate in the border area of Kashmir, when a young disabled woman becomes a teacher, when you teach medical students seva bhav, compassion. That is the work of our foundation that works in 26 states, in 112 aspirational districts, in tribal areas, impacting millions of people. These are what makes my heart sing. It is the grace of the Almighty. This evening, I must express gratitude. My parents and in-laws have made me what I am today. Their grace has been every step of the way. My husband Ajay, sitting there, is the wind beneath my wings. What makes my heart sing is my family, where our values transcend time and generations, and how strong is our legacy of spirituality. And my son Anand built a magnificent temple in Thane just a few days ago in the memory of his grandmother. My children, Nandini, Peter, Anand, and Isha, have given me the greatest gift of all, 4 beautiful grandchildren. Anya, Dev, Adya, Krishna. Makes my heart sing when my granddaughter Anya bakes cookies to raise funds for an animal shelter for elderly animals in Lonavala. And Anya and Dev make a robo for autistic children. They are just 11 and 9. The first word of my 1-year-old granddaughter Adya speaks the word book. For me, Jnana is God. And when my grandson Krishna, age 1, holds my hand and makes me his best friend. Grandchildren are the gift of the grace and the grace of the Almighty. I have gratitude for our spiritual gurus on this earth, like Gaur Gopal Prabhu, who teaches the Ramayana, to increase our spirit of seva and service. I have gratitude for my teachers in science, technology, culture, and the spoken and written word and the arts. Gratitude for my mentors and friends who were always with me on this journey in good times and challenging times. And the work is not complete by far, miles to go before I sleep, when light will destroy the darkness of ignorance. Into that freedom, let my country awake. Ladies and gentlemen, my heart sings when I wear my mother's sari today, as I accept this award with humility and on behalf of the men and women who work with me for making the world a better place. Thank you.
Please come for a group photograph, man. Yes. I'd like to, group photograph first. Please stay back on stage. I'd like to now call all the winners of the evening on stage for a group photograph, as well as Mr. Shamal Majumdar, Ms. Zia Modi, Ms. Sudha Shivkumar, Malu Natarajan. Everybody, please come on stage with your awards for a group photograph. can I have all the partners as well on stage from Indus Bank, Veena World, Runwal Group? Do we have all the event partners on stage as well? Indian Oil Corporation, St. Regis, Gift Studio, Loner Stays. Can we have you also on stage as well? Thank you, everybody. And with that, that brings us to the end of this evening. For the Express Awards for Women Entrepreneurs, I'd like to thank our partners again. Our presenting partner, Indus Bank, associate partner, Veena World, the Runwal Group, Indian Oil Corporation, our hospitality partner, St. Regis, gifting partners, the Gift Studio, and Lono Stays by Isprava. Ladies and gentlemen, that brings us to the end of the evening. Please enjoy the rest of the evening. Thank you.